Phew, it's been 18 months already. They say time flies, but I never expected it to fly so fast. I feel like after a year and a half, it is a perfect time for us to look back on the development and how did we got here. It's also not a coincidence that this devlog is being released right now. I have a big announcement today that I will leave for the end of this video. Those of you who follow me elsewhere on other social media probably already know what I mean. But let's not waste another second and let us go back in time. The first mention of Mall Craze in history books dates back to October 2019. At that time, Mall Craze was just a passion project of mine and I never really intended it to be an actual game that I would release. Everything changed next month in November, where I decided to actually release it at some point in the future. The first devlog was released around this time, and from that day, this channel slowly grew to the point where now there are almost 400 of us. For some, it might not seem like that much, but let me just put it into perspective. This is 400 people. I mean, it's not that bad. But wait, what if the number of subscribers and the number of customers here are somehow connected? Maybe we can just increase it here and then... There was not much to talk about the game at that point. A lot of this was just experimenting with Unreal Engine and discovering its features and capabilities. I was also considering other engines at the beginning, but nothing could really beat the power of Blueprints and how it actually made the whole programming process fun for me. I never made a game before and I also never used Unreal at any point before that, so I was still learning something new every single day. And I still do nowadays. The first couple of months probably went something like this. Did you know that Mall Craze was not always called Mall Craze? Besides Mall Craze, I had other areas for the title of the game, including Shopping Fever, Mall Haven, Mall Incorporated, Malltopia. You can clearly see that all of these are just a combination of some other existing titles. That was probably the main reason why I chose Mall Craze. It sounded good and was also something relatively new. This period in the history of Mall Craze is also known as the Great Summer Silence. I'm probably being overly dramatic here. What really happened? I basically went radio silent on all of my social media for roughly 4 months. There's actually a great mystery surrounding this legend as to what really happened. Some say that I stopped working on the game and abandoned the project. Other people say that I took a break, went to the mountains to meditate and to regain a connection with my inner self. Sadly, we will never have the answer. It was because I started live streaming Mall Craze and it quickly became the #1 most streamed game on the internet. Everyone was talking about Mall Craze and it became a worldwide phenomenon. But wait, was this story a complete fiction or a strange truth? We will tell you at the end of our show. Do you remember our story about a young indie game developer making a game that became a worldwide phenomenon? If you thought that this story was true, we got you. It was fictional. I started working on the game again in August, and the development has been going strong ever since. There were many things that I implemented during this time, many of which I mentioned in the last video. Let's do a quick recap. The research function was implemented. Customers are finally buying stuff in the shops. Hiring staff is now possible. The process of building shops is completely rewritten. New management window is added into the game. Right mouse button camera drag implemented. Small notifications pop up after research. New character models are added to the game. A clothing shop is added into the game, and the music shop is also being added into the game. No, wait. Why exactly do we have an epic music going on in the background? I guess I will just have to go with it now. I also think that after a year and a half of development, it would be cool to show you the process of building a very small mall from start to finish. Please stand by while we build a nice little shopping center. If you feel hungry or thirsty, please feel free to grab a glass of water or a small snack to make the waiting more pleasurable. As the main manager of our shopping center, I thank you for your visit, and we will be glad to see you again soon. All of this brings us to this day and my promise from the beginning of the video to reveal that big announcement. It was almost exactly 1 year ago when I first intended to launch a Kickstarter campaign for Mall Craze. Things didn't work out at that time, but the plan to eventually launch the campaign stayed. And now here we are, 1 year later, and I'm very happy to tell you that the Kickstarter campaign for Mall Craze will be launching on 5th of April, which is only a couple of days ahead. This has been the main focus of my time for the last 2 months, and I can't wait to show you more. I was making fun of those 4 months from the last summer, but it was actually you and your interest in the game that eventually helped me to decide to continue working on it. Thank you very much for the last 18 months. Here's a little preview of what's coming next week. Thanks again, and take care.